Hey guys, it's time to buckle up because we have another good story from Roller Reddit. My 29M wife says she 29F wants a divorce. We have been together for almost 8 years, lived together for 4 years, and married this past October. She says she isn't happy and doesn't want children. She doesn't want a family, even though she has told me otherwise the last several years. When we first started dating, she was as into it. But as we both grew up, she would often talk about how excited she was to have a family together. She says my family hasn't ever really cared for her, mainly my father. She isn't totally wrong in this. My dad is kinda old school and a bit sexist, and the very fact she has sleeves has rubbed him the wrong way for a long time. But we have been together so long that time kinda changes these things. They get along fine now and never really had any big altercations or anything. When we decided to get married and it became clear that we would be together for the long haul, his attitude changed. She says she has forced me to change who I am to be with her. It's hard for me to verbalize exactly what she is referring to. We have both changed so much in the near decade together, and 22-29 is a totally different life. So of course we have both changed. I call it growing up. I can only think of little things. She's controlling in the kitchen, so I don't really cook much anymore, which is something I used to enjoy. She just does it because she's kind of a neat freak, and apparently I don't quite meet her standards law. The same with house a bit. I was born in the country and was often barefoot in and out of the house all the time, whereas with her she wants everything in the house to be just so. I have a bit of a hippie soul, and she doesn't so much, I suppose you could say. At first I resented it, but now I love having our clean house, and it's no problem for me to respect that for her because even if we have different home standards, I can respect the effort it takes for her to make things how they are. She says that she has my whipped into shape, but it's not really how I want to live. She says she dulls my shine because of who she is. It's so hard to hear that. She is currently unemployed. She left her job during the pandemic so that she could gain extra income. Now that that is over, she has applied to a number of different places, but refuses to go back to her old job and wants to just draw unemployment till she finds something she likes. That one is a bit difficult for me. She has made more than me for months doing nothing, and while I understand and even encouraged it at first, the fact she wasn't willing to hustle and even work part-time while applying for jobs bothered me. Missouri is basically wide open right now, with minor restrictions, and I haven't missed a day of work during this entire pandemic. I told her as much and told her there were certain things I expect of her as my wife. I expect her to work at least until we have children, and seeing her be so apathetic about it was disappointing me. She has never contributed to savings. We have separate checking and a joint savings account. She has almost never added to it, and even while making considerably more than me the last several months being off work, hasn't added to our savings. She has paid off a couple $1,000 bill, which is awesome, but knowing how much she made, she has mostly wasted the money trivially. I just wasn't expecting it. I came home after work, took a shower, and she called me into my room and said she wasn't happy and wanted it to end. She said she wasn't physically lusting after me anymore, even though she loved me. Obviously, this one really hurt my confidence. I work out very regularly, and while I'm not the most fit I've ever been, I was once fat and have prioritized my health and body wellness heavily over the last decade. I play too many damn video games, I think, is what could have caused the disconnect. We hang out and watch movies or binge shows, but we also respect one another's space during the week and after a long day of work and training. I have definitely plopped down at my computer to game with friends more times than I probably should have. He says that all the nerdy things like that don't bother her at all, and that's the stuff I love and shouldn't feel like I need to change everything for her. She says it's more than that. I just love her so much and was so happy with our life together. Knowing she was is devastating. I feel so responsible for her happiness and like I must have let her down, not been doing my part to emotionally connect. But we often joke and laugh. We are genuine friends. We were planning a trip together very soon and had plans to meet with our bank about first-time home buyers loans this week. I also think that could have been a catalyst. She says I want a family and a house in the country. And even though she told me she did want all of that, now that we are making those moves, she is getting cold feet and says she doesn't. I don't know what advice to ask really. I've just never been in this spot in life before. It feels so real, and she seems very resolute. My confidence is crushed, and I feel like I failed my marriage. I always tried to prioritize her and love her. It was so out of left field. Our sex life was regular and good. She seemed to have passion for us, Story 2. I'm 29F, realizing that I don't have a supportive husband, 31M. I'm graduating with a bachelor's degree and making more money, and he's not happy about it. Okay, so we've been married for 5 years, dating for 7. At the beginning of our relationship, I was doing prerequisites to get into a nursing program. I ended up going to a 2-year community college to get my associates, and then started work as a nurse around the time we got married. My income went from about $40,000 a year working in a call center to about $60,000 a year working in a hospital. So it was a huge improvement. My husband, at the time, was happy for me. Now, to give a little background, he works in a trade like plumbing or electricity or steel, something like that. So he makes good money, about $80,000 a year. He's always been the higher earner and did not need a degree to do his job, which is amazing. I wish I didn't have to waste so long in school and pay so much money to do what I do. With graduation coming up, I've noticed him making snarky remarks like when I made a statement that I was excited to graduate, he said, "I don't know why. Having a bachelor's is pretty much pointless anyway. I don't even see the need for it. You're already a nurse." So that kind of brought me down a little bit. Also, I've been discussing with him me going into more of a specialty at work. This would mean I make more money. My ideal job would be quite easy for me to get now with a bachelor's, and it would put me between $90,000 to $100,000 a year. Ever since we've had this discussion, he's been cold to me. He has said things like, "Well, are you sure you can do that job? It sounds hard. Maybe you should just stay where you're at." When I mentioned the hospital I want to work at is about 4 to 5 minutes away, all he could talk about was how difficult the commute would be and me getting stuck in snowstorms on the way or something. He's just being a huge downer about it. I also mentioned to someone recently that I was thinking about going back after I was done with my bachelor's to possibly get my master's in nursing education so I can teach nursing school someday. He was standing next to me when I said this, and he made a huge exasperated sigh and rolled his eyes. I don't understand. He's always been happy and supportive of me, but now I feel like I have overstepped an invisible boundary that I didn't know existed. I feel like since I make more money than him, he's somehow taking it personally, which is confusing because it's not like I'm spending a ton of money on myself. The money is going to go into our savings and go into our house and go towards us traveling. I told him this, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. I just don't know what to do or say to make him realize how hurtful he's being. TLDR, husband is not excited that I'm going to be making more money than he is and is not supportive of my choice to pursue higher education. Don't know what to do. Story 3. My cat suddenly hates my boyfriend. I, 22F, have a rescue cat named Shiloh. I took her in about a year ago. She came to me very malnourished, from a home that had over 70 other cats in it. She has always been extremely affectionate, always laying in my lap, wanting snuggles. She loves to be held. She cries whenever I shut her out of the room that I'm in, and she always greets me when I come home from work. When I'm home, she's by my side 24/7. She's very affectionate with everyone else, always very friendly with my family and friends. She usually loves when I have people over. I have been with my boyfriend, 29M, for 2 years, and when I first got Shiloh, she got along with my boyfriend perfectly fine. But the past month or so, she has not been letting him pet her, and she has began hissing at him if he tries to approach her. I asked my boyfriend if he has ever hurt her, and he swears he hasn't. I think I believe him, especially because I have definitely accidentally kicked her or stepped on her more times than I can count because she's always underfoot, and she never holds a grudge about it. I thought maybe it was because my boyfriend has been staying for longer periods of time lately. He'll stay at my place for up to a week at a time. He is slightly allergic and doesn't like her sleeping in the bedroom with us, so she used to cry outside the door every night when I wouldn't let her in until she got used to it. So I asked her vet if maybe she's become jealous, and he said that cats don't get jealous. The only reason that she would hiss at someone is because she's scared of them. She has seen us in some pretty bad fights. Our relationship was a little rocky a few months ago. Maybe it's possible it has something to do with it. My boyfriend has never been a fan of Shiloh, mostly because he's slightly allergic, but also because she's such a high-maintenance cat that demands attention from me and tends to run around and break things. But I find it so hard to believe that he would ever do anything to make her afraid of him. I don't know what to do. I have never seen my cat hiss or act aggressively towards anyone else, including her vet. Do I trust that my boyfriend doesn't mistreat her when I'm gone? Is there another explanation for why she's behaving this way towards him? I keep joking to my friends that maybe she knows something that I don't. and every day she seems to become more aggressive towards him. Now my boyfriend wants to get rid of her, and getting rid of her is not an option I'm willing to even consider. TL Doctor, my cat has started to hiss at my boyfriend. He says he has never hurt her in any way. But it's getting worse, and I don't know what to do.